Hi, welcome to the HR Minister podcast. My name is Dana Lynch, and today I have Camille Bradley with me, and she is a senior year college student at Nelson University. And Camille has been working as an HR intern for Human Resources 911 this past semester and is wrapping up her studies and is about to graduate in May. So, Camille, welcome to the show. And why don't you take a moment just to share a little bit about Nelson University and about what you've been studying?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Miss Dana. I'm so happy to be here today with you. So I have been in Nelson University in Waxahachie for 4 years now. I graduate in 3 weeks, which is so exciting. But I played softball for the university for 2 years, and then I proceeded for the next 2 years to be part of a women's business club called Elevate Women in Business, and I was the vice president. So that was super exciting too, and it's definitely set me up for success. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm so glad that you're with me this year and that you picked me, and so grateful for that. So I know that we were going to kind of trade some questions. So we're kind of doing a fun thing where the boss interviews you and you interview me, and we'll see what insights we gain out of that. Does that sound good?
Sounds awesome. I'm excited.
Me too. Me too. All right. Well, do you want to go ahead and start us off?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, why do businesses benefit from hiring interns? And for you, what are some of the core lessons you try to teach your interns?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's just a great question. So I've worked with many interns over my career, and I'm just really excited to work with interns. Very excited to work with you because I just think interns bring just so much value to an organization. They bring fresh perspective, the fresh eyes on everyday tasks, and they also share so much curiosity in asking the why questions that I
Mhm.
think are so important. Like, why is this done, and why don't you do it this way? And really, pointing out maybe some new ideas that no one had thought about before. So, sometimes whenever the recruiters go out to and go out and are looking for interns, or they kind of let a college know that, hey, we're looking for interns, the companies might believe that they're the ones that are providing all the knowledge to their interns. But I think, in fact, it's quite the shared experience because interns inject so much knowledge and energy back to the organization and the team that they're supporting over the semester. So I think it's just a great experience.
Yeah, 100% I agree. And I can say that I have experience and learned so much this semester. So, yeah, that's amazing. What do you think was the most beneficial thing I was able to help you with and do with you this semester?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a great question.
Mhm.
I would say that, gosh, you taught me so much. So, you helped me a lot with like the social media and marketing aspect that, you pointed out things to me that I just didn't have the experience with, that I just wasn't aware of. You helped me with Canva. I basically, my start was I had started an account and I had done a few posts, but you kind of took it to the whole next level. You brought light and color to everything. You put themes together for me, and you really just brought everything to the next level with my marketing. And then further, when we did the amazing career and community event, you that was just phenomenal. You helped me with so much, organizing everything, helping make sure that I had everything set up. And then also, you were just so giving. It wasn't just like, let me just do these things and check things off for my internship. You were just so giving of yourself and your talent. And you've set me up for the future as well with like Google Docs, which I'd never worked with before ever, and setting up different things that I can use now for years to come. So I'm just so grateful to everything that you shared. And you were just such a great support to me at the event as well. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. I absolutely loved working with you and gaining so much insight and knowledge from you too. And just to touch a little bit on the career fair, to see your heart and your determination and your love for the community and people is just inspiring. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thanks for being so kind. So, well, I get to ask you a question now. So, what do you think students can gain from doing an internship?
Yeah, absolutely. Internships are an unforgettable experience that give you opportunities that your college education simply cannot give you. It's an opportunity to take those skills learned in college and then apply them in a controlled environment and then gain hands-on experience, which is unmatched. An internship helps you test the waters in a company or industry that you may potentially absolutely love, or you may realize it isn't what you thought it was going to be and that you want to go down a different career path after graduation, which is okay too. And there's no pressure around it because it was an internship and you're there to just gain knowledge and gain experience. I also think internships are a great opportunity to network and build relationships with not only your employer and your company, but also the connections that your company has with people in the community and other businesses. And you never know, you may get a job offer with the community, with the company you're working for, or with someone you met through the internship. So you never know, which is amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is great perspective. And, I would also add that the organization or the various leaders that you or interns in general that support during your internship, they're going to become part of your long-term network, or at least they should. It shouldn't just end, at the end of that semester. They should, just stay connected for many, many years to come. Be open with them about what your career goals are. You can ask them if you can utilize them as a reference for future employment. You want to connect with them on LinkedIn or whatever the happening social media platform of the day might be, and engage in their content. That's going to give you visibility in turn to their network. If people see that you're engaging with them, somebody might be curious. It could be a CEO somewhere that's like, hey, who is this person? I'm interested in what they have to say and I love their background. And you just never know where that could lead. And, lastly, also feel free to ask them to promote you on LinkedIn or their network. Like, have them shout you out, because again, you might find that next opportunity could just be around the corner in that manner. And, like I just touched on a moment, like, just don't let that work relationship end. Just stay connected for years to come. So, because the person that you're working with, they might be your connection for, not just the job after college, but the one after that, the one after that. So it should be really a long-term view on that.
Yeah, I think those are some great perspectives and insights. And so thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to just staying connected with you over the years. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
yeah,
look forward to it
absolutely.
also.
So I guess on to the next question.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what makes a great intern from an employer's perspective? And what qualities do you look for in an intern? Or what are some soft skills you see as essential?
Oh, that's a cool question. So I'll share that, whenever the recruiter or the hiring manager comes back to like the leadership team and says, hey, great news, we've got an intern, that's going to be coming in. Everyone is so excited about it. Like, the company is excited to have an intern join them. And behind the scenes, there's also people already thinking about like, what can they teach them? What can they show them? There's a lot of planning that happens. So I would just say that, employers really want to teach and share knowledge with you. So just be open to what they want to share. You might be working with folks who are from several generations in the workforce, and everyone has their own style. So, when they want to share, slow down just a little bit, take it all in. You might have someone that's maybe a little bit slower on the tech. You might have someone that, wants to show you this or that. So just kind of take it in, be teachable. I think that's kind of the buzzword that's out there. And you might have folks that are like, oh, you remind me of my son. You might remind me of my daughter. And that just means that they're, being endearing, and they just want to show you everything, that they can for you and make sure they have a good experience. But conversely, it's also really important that you get to be yourself and you show your awesomeness. So share your knowledge, teach others, for example, like you did with me. And I just guarantee that they're going to be so grateful to learn from you as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really like how you touched on being teachable. That connects to my softball brain, and I'm like, oh, well, be coachable too, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't just apply in your internship, it's going to apply in the job, your family, relationships, friendships. So be coachable, be teachable, be willing to see new perspectives, try new things, because those are the times where your stretch is where you grow. So thank you so much for that.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Miss Dana, what are some things you see in the upcoming generations that make employers now nervous to hire young employees? And how do you think these can be tackled by employers? And how can new employees grow these skills to become better candidates for potentially being hired?
That's just a really important thing to touch on. I love your question. So I think it's important for, leaders in an organization just to become more aware of different generations of the workplace if they're not, if they aren't already, and understand that the attributes, the characteristics and life experiences of that each of them share and bring to the table are just really important. It just makes the entire employment experience very rich. And once folks have that understanding, I think some of that inadvertent disinclusion, it will turn more into inclusive recruitment and employment experiences. I'll just be candid that a pet peeve of mine is just when I hear professionals just talk negatively about millennials. I mean, it was probably as recent as, 6 months to a year ago that I'm still hearing that. And, the sad part about that is, it's just kind of just a passe way of thinking, I would say, because millennials are now, probably well into or at least in their 30s. They have families. A lot of them are executives in organizations doing amazing things. So to still carry that terminology, I just think is a real disfortune. And then with Gen Z, they experience school probably and social disruption from the COVID-19 pandemic, and they're still overcoming some of those isolation experiences. So, the employers should not be so quick to label people, and instead let's wrap our arms around the next generation, pay it forward, help teach them, help them be successful. And in turn, they're going to teach us things. So I'm personally very, very excited about the next generation. I loved my experience with you. I demonstrated to you that I used everything that you created, and it was just so valuable to me. So I'm just really excited about, what your generation is going to bring to the workforce. You're going to be doing some amazing things.
Yeah, thank you so much. Those are some great insights, and the feelings are definitely reciprocated. I've learned so much from you this semester. I think you may have touched on it earlier, but just slowing down and taking in the knowledge that you can, and just for you too, slowing down and taking in the knowledge from our perspective as well, which is beneficial for each side of people. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let me ask you a question then. So what advice would you give to other students that are looking for internships?
Yes, absolutely. So I have a few pieces of advice I would give to other students looking for internships. First, look for companies that you're interested in, that you're passionate about their mission and their cause and what they do. Seek after those companies. Look into if they have an internship program. If they don't, still reach out to them. Maybe they'd be willing to make one for you. Nelson University has been amazing. They even make it easy for employers to have a layout for students to have an internship, because they want it to be a great experience for each, and they want to set their students up for success as well, which is amazing. Companies look for individuals who have passion for what they do, and they may be willing to make a program for you, so you never know. I also think the little things pour into the big things. Even though you're a freshman, your interactions and who you meet now will help you and be important 4 years from now when you're looking for an internship. You never know. You may be in the grocery store and you run into a business owner, and it's your freshman year of college, and you realize, oh, I met this person 3 years ago and now I'm doing an internship with them. And because of how you carried yourself. So I think that really matters. Also, I would like to say first impressions also matter. How you carry yourself matters. Every interaction you have matters. So carry yourself with your shoulders back, which has been preached at me my entire life, and it's definitely helped me. So be professional when you're reaching out to employers. I would also suggest that if you're sending emails, don't send super long emails. Be pretty concise. Say who you are, say what you can bring to the table. And if the company is interested, they'll definitely reach out to you. And then if you have the chance to speak with the company that you're interested in working for, express yourself well. And like I said, carry yourself well, and just be excited, because you know what is for you, what will find you, which is amazing, right? It's exciting, and careers are supposed to be exciting. So be excited about it, and you never know what's coming. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love how you put that little things pour into big things. That's just such a positive way to look at really the future and how, the employer and the intern can really help each other out. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Awesome. So I think here's my question. Miss Dana, I know you have had over 20 years of experience, round of applause, in human resources, which is absolutely amazing. What is something you have learned over the years that you think is important for not just interns, but for the next generations to know as they enter into the workforce?
I love that question. I've reflected a lot about this actually, just kind of over my own career. And then also as my own children are now adults and, going into their careers, really trying to understand, or really looking at the answers to, kind of what's the meaning of the work life. So I would just say what's really, really important, I think, is research and choose your employers with great care and just be deliberate about who you accept a job from. And I know that everyone needs money and benefits, but accepting job offers from any employer could mean that you waste valuable years only to realize that there might be a values misconnect with that organization or that the recruitment pitch along the way isn't quite as realistic as you might have once thought. And so whenever you accept a job, you want to enter the employment relationship just like you would any other important relationship in your life. So you want to enter it with shared values, shared
Mhm.
expectations. You want to maintain good boundaries. If you take too much of them, they take too much of you over the years. It just there's a price to pay. And along the way, don't lose who you are and what you stand for. Don't lose that sparkle and that passion and that love for what you do. And, job titles, et cetera, of course, they're important and they might provide, that self actualization for ourselves, that confidence for ourselves, but just keep your priorities straight. Remember, always keep your family and your friends first. After all, the job, is just a job, but they're not your whole identity. So like I just said, just have good priorities and you'll have a wonderful career ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's such a good perspective. And just slowing down and understanding that, like you said, your job isn't absolutely everything because you have to put the people that you love ahead of them sometimes or often, right? And I think that's really good advice, especially for me as I'm entering into the workforce to not just accept anything and remember what my values are and understand that if this doesn't align with what my values are, a company I'm looking at, maybe it isn't for me and that's okay. What is for me, what will find me. And so just thank you so much for that. And I'm really grateful for your perspectives that you've shown today and just this conversation. So
Likewise, Camille, this has been just such a great conversation. Thank you for joining me today and then sharing your insights. It was really great. Thank you so much.
yeah, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this and I look forward to seeing who your intern is next semester. So
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. And so on that note, if you're a student out there wondering whether to apply for an internship, just do it. There's so much that you will gain from that. And if you're a business leader thinking about bringing on interns, just absolutely do it. Invest in the next generation. You never know what someone can bring to the table and benefit to your company in such a unique way. And I'll just share too that, different folks different colleagues that I've worked with or interacted with, they've had a chance to meet Camille and they're all asking me, how do I get a Camille? How do I also get an intern? So I just think that's just terrific that between Camille and I, we were also able to show and demonstrate what a great experience this can be. So again, thanks again so much for being here today, Camille.
yes, thank you so much, Miss Dana.
And so to our followers here today, if you like this episode, please give us a like, follow us, please share it with a friend who also might be on the internship hunt. If you're a parent, maybe have them give us a listen and that'll give your own student, some confidence in just going forward. So thanks so much, everyone. Be sure to follow the HR minister and we'll talk to you all soon.